All right? Also, let me give you two more real fast ones. Youth charged with drug law violations. Youth charged with drug law violations. Again, youth charged with drug... Oh, I shouldn't erase that word, but it doesn't matter. Youth charged with drug law violations. Now that's the biggie, particularly among the young boys. It's increased by 169% between 90 and 99. Let me say it again. Youth charged with drug law violations. It means guys selling crack cocaine, heroin, other forms of drugs. Between 90, this is 1990 to 1999, right here. Between this decade or so, youth charged with drug law violations increased by 169%. Now they're really getting it in on the block. And those are the guys that are hustling on the block. Bosses, guys who really control the drug trade, for the most part, aren't the guys on the block. Young guys on the block, guys who can endure arrest and can endure just the rough climate that's out there. I would also say, though, it's important to know that all men across all ages can be represented on that block as well. But you will find a higher concentration of juveniles hustling and peddling drugs on the block. Okay? And actually, the other thing I want you to know, and I've said this before, approximately 134,000 juveniles or youth are currently detained, not incarcerated, in approximately 3,000 facilities. I'll say that again. Right now in America, we have about 134,000 youth that are locked up. Anywhere between 134,000 to 140,000, let's say. I like to give us room. A lot of times these estimates are very, very conservative. But technically on the books, this is 134. And technically on the books, we have approximately 3,000 facilities across the country to detain youth.
Yep. Yeah, your numbers, where are you getting your numbers from? In the
U.S. Census Bureau.
Okay.
U.S. They keep this stuff. They keep these stats. Yep.
Okay. Question. This sort of relates to that. But you know how we were talking about how we have more people in prison than China does, and our population is a lot smaller. My grandmother the other day, I don't know, because grandmothers just say weird things sometimes, but I was saying that, like how ridiculous it was, and she was like, "But that's because in China, they just kill all the people and like send them down the river." I don't know if there's like any truth to that. Just wanted to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that's
they like?
Yeah, they just
China,
throw them out, right?
China, they like do firing squads every day and kill like hundreds of.
So do you think that affects is that why we have so many more people? Because they just kill their people?
Well, let me say, I'm not saying it's not true. I don't know, to be honest with you. But I don't know. I mean, I guess we're still on. I'm not saying you don't know.
I did research for the Olympics, and there was a whole website about why they were petitioning the Olympics, and I was
Okay. Fair enough.
I will say though, if you balance it out, like you kill a lot of our people too. So
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it may not be firing squads, but I mean, killing somebody doesn't really matter how they died. It's the fact that they died. So I mean, I would say it would be kind of hard to find stats for China because they're very protective of that.
Yeah.
But kind of keep that in mind when we talk about execution rates just worldwide.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my grandmother gave the impression that they just.
Because I would say most of
I don't know.
Well, I would say this: most of our Western European allies do not have nearly as high a rate of execution as we do. So that's another thing. The English, the French, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pick up real fast. Someone who committed juvenile delinquency, go to this term right here, juvenile delinquency, an official term. Someone who committed an act defined by the law as illegal and who is adjudicated a delinquent by an appropriate court. Okay, they don't go to court, right?
One more time, please.
Huh?
One more time, please.
I'm gonna say it one more time, but let me contextualize real fast. Juvenile delinquents are a technical status, right? This is when you engage in an illegal act, but you cannot be charged as a juvenile. You can be charged, you can be arrested. You can't be arrested or charged, you can be detained. And your process is a process of adjudication. And you actually don't go to court. go to a youth-based type of court. So hold on, I'm gonna get to that in 1 second. 1 second. This status, juvenile delinquency, is generally restricted to those under the age of 16. But again, this is a state-by-state thing, you know. So it changes, or it can change by state. But generally, juvenile delinquency is all folk under the age of 16. Generally, all states allow juveniles to be tried as adults in criminal courts under certain conditions and for certain offenses. Under federal law now, and this a lot of times this goes back and forth. Under federal law, juveniles can be prosecuted as adults at age 15. So if there's a particular case under particular conditions and somehow it becomes federal, which is technically possible, if they wanted to, they could try you as an adult as early as age 15 on a federal level. If they wanted to. It would have to be some extenuating circumstances. And they have been. Juvenile courts are a division within the civil court system. Again, juvenile courts are a division within the civil court system and not the criminal court system. So, the civil court system, right, as we know with OJ and other folks, is not the same thing as the criminal justice court system. Juvenile delinquency or juvenile courts fall under the civil court system. These two systems generally use different language to honor juvenile status. Again, it is not court for the juvenile. It is called a youth hearing. That's what I was trying to recall. A youth hearing or youth court, as opposed to a trial. They don't use that, can't use that in a juvenile case. If found guilty, the teenager is referred to as a delinquent and not an offender. Not an offender. Juvenile procedures are not generally open to the public because they're under the age of 18. So as you can see, particularly if you're reading All God's Children, Willie Boskin, who's engaging in murder and doing a whole bunch of things, as a child, for the most part, he gets off from all that stuff. Because he gets let out by the age of 21. But he's killing people, he's running around with his gun, he's robbing folk, he's doing a whole bunch of stuff. Yep.
The Willie Boskin Act or something like that, the law they passed.
Yep.
So what?
Yep.
So
The law. Yep.
is that like enable the court or whatever to try a minor, or how does that work? Like when we were talking about like arresting.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mine is,
my point.
I mean, I think, you know, it's really a case-by-case basis. You know what I mean? In Willie's case, because I guess in a lot of ways it was unprecedented, he kind of, he really, you know, the system was able to bend the system in his, you know, to his, you know, unfortunately or fortunately, but he was able to twist the system in such a way that he was able to be released by the age of 21. However, it's a case-by-case basis. That means some folk, no, they ain't going to get out. They're going to do life starting at age 17 or 16, you know, and get out, you know, and probably never. It really all depends. There are no clean-cut rules. This stuff is always being overturned. New laws and policies are always being introduced. So it's hard to give a fixed, across-the-board answer with regard to youth detention. Okay. Again, open to the public, not open to the public, like criminal court system is open to the public. Delinquency is clearly not limited to low-income youth. However, these persons are disproportionately represented in the criminal justice system. Now, really quickly, right? Serious offender. Let's do this one. When we think of the juvenile offender and the illegal activities that he or she may commit, it's important to frame and understand that the offender, as a person involved in several offense categories, when it's the serious offender is the teenager really caught up in the streets. Let me back up for a second. This is the person. This is the Willie Boskin Jr. To be honest with you. This is the Willie Boskin Jr. But they're engaged in illegal activity, particularly violent activity, at such a rate, and that would have to be deemed by a judge, right? Again, these are loose terms. These are you know, extenuating circumstances. These are individual cases, and it just becomes an individual ruling at that point. We have to, at this point, for whatever reason, deem this person a serious offender. But this is as serious, if you will, it could get for a juvenile. Anything after serious offender status, it becomes an adult infraction or adult status. Right? That is as bad as it can get for a juvenile. In part, that's why you have drug dealers or older guys in the game who draw on juveniles to be a part of their game because they can get off a lot easier in relation to adults. All right, any questions in relation to what I've just said? Cool, great gravy. Now,